All right, let's go to this story now. Jailed Zimbabwean lawmaker and vice chair of the Opposition Citizens Coalition for Change, Job Sikhala, has been convicted by a Harare magistrate court on charges of obstructing justice. The charges arose after Sikhala posted a video on social media claiming that More Blessing Ali was in fact had been murdered by ZANU-PF supporters while police were still investigating that particular murder. Now, Ali's mutilated body was found in a disused well near her house in Nyatsime. A suspect was arrested and is on trial for murder. Sikhala has been fined $600 or 6 months in prison if he fails to pay the fine by Friday.
Sentence has just been passed by Magistrate Marijuana Gofa. The effect of the sentence is that he has been given a 6 months wholly suspended prison term on condition that he pays a fine of American dollars $600 by the 5th of May 2023, failing which he shall be committed to prison for 6 months.
This sentence comes as a relief to the Sikhala family. There is now a renewed sense of hope that perhaps in the meantime he will be out soon. We are primarily happy that a custodial sentence was imposed, and our thinking is that this will probably have an effect with respect to the other offense of incitement to commit violence, and we are hoping as a family that sooner or later Honorable Sikhala will be back with his family. I'm sure you can see that his children are happy. The wife is, well, temporarily relieved. So we are basically relieved that he has been given a fine, in as much as we would have wanted him to be acquitted, because we believed that he had not committed any offense at all.
For more on this, we're joined by Simba Chikanza, founding editor of ZimEye. Thank you so much for your time, Simba. What has been the reaction on the ground to this latest development?
Well, the nation has received news of the conviction of the Honorable MP with a mixture of anger, I think partly also sadness. And what the regime has been trying to do is to suppress the voice when people complain, when things are wrong. And I want to say, I'm feeling overwhelmed at this conviction. Even if Sikhala had been sent home today, I would still be enraged. And I will tell you why. The reason is the client here of the MP, More Blessing Ali, was truly murdered by ZANU-PF members. And at the time of the statements that he made, there was clear suppression of the process of justice. There was no willingness whatsoever by the police to arrest the people who murdered More Blessing Ali, who the community knew very well. And what the ruling party did around that time was so deliberate that I want to say every parliament as at today in Africa must shut their doors, in my view, if they are truly serious about preserving the integrity of parliamentarism, and protest until the persecution, I call it persecution here, against Job Sikhala stops. I will speak more as we discuss tonight, but clearly there is here an expression, an exhibit, an execution of total disregard for the rule of law by the prosecutors in Zimbabwe.
So, Simba, let's talk about how does this begin to change things on the ground ahead of the election?
Well, ahead of the election here, there is what I see here, a clear attempt by ZANU-PF, and they've already stated it so. It is to stop the masses from speaking out, from protesting when they see injustice. We will remember here the context from the 2018 elections, when another military coup, and I don't know if you knew, there was a second military coup that happened in Zimbabwe on the 1st of August 2018, when Mnangagwa deployed soldiers to shoot people, to kill people. 6 were killed, and Soon after that, election results were changed according to a plan that had even been announced on state television, ZBC, that the military would be used to change election results. So we're seeing back then, if you remember the context of the Motlanthe Commission, that former South Africa President Motlanthe was in Zimbabwe, spent several weeks heading a commission that was trying to it was literally Kazi court. It was trying these offenses, trying to suppress the voices of the opposition and members of the public who were complaining over that brutality, which was so clear and had even been announced. A real coup was announced that it would be done against Nelson Chamisa's government at its inception by ZANU-PF. So we're dealing here with a situation where we're getting to 2023. The most vocal MP, arguably in Africa, who I call a state Power Now activist, Job Sikhala, believes that whenever there is an illegal regime, whenever a government fails at its leadership and corruption has taken over the state institutions, power must go back. It must go back to the masses, and power should be transferred today. So because he's so vocal and he has been so successful in leading the masses, in reviving the hopes of the masses, this is the most cruel way of the regime using such brutality, such murder, such crime that was done by the state to stop not only Sikhala speaking, but the Zimbabwean people speaking during the 2023 elections here. I think really Mr. Emmerson Mnangagwa must be ashamed of himself to call himself a leader of any political party, to call himself a leader of a country, and he actually allows this situation, this thing to happen, which is a crime by the state against a sitting MP who is only doing his job as an MP, number two, as a solicitor, as a lawyer to a murder victim.
And really this raises a whole lot of questions, and let's see what unfolds from this one, Simba, because there's even concerns from some of the journalists we're seeing on social media worried about what happens now, going forward. But of course, some of those who are pro what has happened say that there's nothing wrong here. It simply is the law being applied. So, mixed reaction tonight, and of course, a lot of people talking about this particular moment. So let's see then in the coming days what happens. And thank you there for your time, Simba.
I just wanted to drop a comment there to say I feel that all parliaments across Africa should shut their doors. They should stop business until Mr. Mnangagwa stops persecuting Job Sikhala. You're talking about an MP here, and I would like you to just understand, an MP whose concepts have been proven to fix economies. I mean, Zambia's victory, Zambia's success, its economy is a result of work that Job Sikhala himself as an MP worked to inspire journalists to confront the former President Edgar Lungu. Look at how amazing Zambia is starting to shape up. Its currency is now stronger than the rand. Its institutions are now beginning to bud, and corruption is now being suppressed nearly on a day-to-day basis. There's a new culture of selflessness. All this that we're seeing across the border in Zambia, a lot of it was inspired by Job Sikhala. Really, truly, every politician in Africa from Cape to Cairo must stop business until Job Sikhala is out. If we allow this crime to happen before our eyes, we have no clue how far it's going to go, even one day to be knocking on our doors. Let us consider the plight of the More Blessing Ali family. And by the way, just as I end here, the remains of More Blessing Ali are still to be buried. I don't know if you were aware. The family are refusing. More Blessing Ali will not be buried until Job Sikhala has been released. The family has played their part. What is the rest of Zimbabwe and the rest of Africa doing? Because this thing clearly is a continental crisis, the Sikhala issue, affects the continent. And Sikhala has demonstrated ability to fix not only Zimbabwe, but the continent. What are we doing about it? What are we journalists also doing about it? Are we just going to sit back there and just write horror stories?
For the purpose of the record, my name is Job Scott. I am advised that I stand convicted of the offense of defeating or obstructing the course of justice as defined in terms of section 184, subsection 1, subparagraph E of the Criminal Law Codification and Reform Act, Chapter 923. I'm 50 years old. I have lived in this world for at least half a century. The experience of the past 50 years of my existence have nurtured within me a mature understanding of the consequences of different sets of events that occurs in one's life. I have attended various court sessions in my capacity as a legal practitioner and also as an accused person. I have gained the full appreciation arising from that experience of the use, misuse, and abuse of the legal processes. My life
Yes, Your Worship. He is focusing on mitigation. I think if the court allows him to read the entire statement, you shall realize that there is a lot of mitigation in that statement. It is rich in factually and legally. Thank you, Your Worship.
My life has been without blemish. I've been accused of every imaginable crime in this country, including allegations of subverting a constitutional government. I've always pleaded and defended my innocence. I live within the strict confines of the law. I became a lawyer because I have faith in the words eloquently inscribed at the University of Zimbabwe, Faculty of Law, Jus Est, born at Aqua. The law is the art of goodness and equity. I also believe in the principles that jus ab remedium. Where there is wrong, there is a remedy. I have never taken the law into my own hands all my life. I have always been a faithful servant of the law. Through my work as a legislator, I always strive for the promotion of laws that serves the needs of the people. I do not wish to see the law being transformed into an oppressive tool on the people by the powerful. I was born in October 1972 in the good communal land. I grew up under the oppressive Smith regime. Zimbabwean independence came when I was just a young boy, 8 years of age. Those were the days when freedom fighters, our fathers and our other villagers, would sit us in the village compound and explain to us why the liberation war was being fought. Much of what I am today was molded on the framework of the values of freedom, equity, and human dignity taught to me by my forebears. These are the values I cherish and espouse to this day. They are the same values that made me, without hesitation, accept the brief to represent the family of More Blessing Ali. May her soul rest in eternal peace. Immediately following her disappearance, little did I know that I would this day be in the dock, paying the price for what I thought to be a noble enterprise. I seek not my glory, but the collective emancipation of all Zimbabweans and justice for the spirit of More Blessing Ali. Those who murdered More Blessing Ali and those who persecute me today may laugh for the moment, but when history chapters are loud, posterity will judge me for what I truly am, a humble and obedient servant of the people, or a willing instrument for the advancement of the values of Ubuntu, a firm believer against impunity, regardless of one's political affiliation or status in life. A legal practitioner being shackled for taking up the cause of his oppressed client, who died a miserable death in the most violent way imaginable. I grew up in a village as a single boy. I tended our family's crops and had cattle with other boys of my age. Passion and determination drove me from the village to join one of the most esteemed professions the world over, that being of a legal practitioner. Passion and determination also drove me from being a simple village boy to a public leader, and granting me the privilege of representing initially the people of St. Mary's and subsequently the people of Sikhala West in the Zimbabwe House of Parliament. My present circumstances have robbed me of the opportunity to remain of service to the electorate which bestowed their faith in me as their parliamentary representative. I've been a leader throughout my life. I've been entrusted with leadership positions since my days at primary school and right through my days at university. I had the privilege of not only leading the students at the University of Zimbabwe, but I was also entrusted with leading students in all tertiary institutions of Zimbabwe through the auspices of the Zimbabwe National Students' Union. I am a founder member of the Movement for Democratic Change, led by the late Morgan Richard Tsvangirai in September 1999. I am currently a senior political leader in Zimbabwe's largest opposition political party, the Citizens Coalition for Change. I have become accustomed to selfless sacrifices for the betterment of those I lead. My commitment and dedication to the national cause is a calling that I will never abdicate from notwithstanding the persecution I encounter as the Tsar. It is a dedication to strive and seek for a just society where men and women, rich or poor, the powerful and the powerless, the affluent and the downtrodden, will live in equality and happiness. The security of persons is at the core of my heart. No form of injustice or persecution will move me, not even an inch away from the cries of the people. Let me be labeled a villain today. Let the murderers of More Blessing Ali and my tormentors be the heroes of the moment. Posterity will judge me. History chapters are replete with these kinds of oppressions. Oppressors read from the same script. I am neither the first nor the last to be nailed for seeking justice for the downtrodden. That is the only crime I have committed. I did not seek to defeat justice. Far from it. Justice in the eyes of the oppressor is injustice to the oppressed. If I am guilty of seeking universal justice that is accessible and applicable to all regardless of status, let the oppressors celebrate. They have won the battle, but the war will be won by the people. I have been in detention under solitary confinement since the 14th of June 2022, shackled in chains like a terrorist. Over the past 10 months, I've been kept away from my family. I've been deprived of my ability to fend for my children. I have been kept away from my occupation as the representative of the people of Sikhala West. I've been kept away from my law office and prevented from representing my clients. I've been prevented from providing legal support to the grieving family of More Blessing Ali, who only desire justice for what happened to their daughter, sister, mother, cousin, friend, and confidant. Though the state extracted a conviction from its hordes of lies and unscrupulously obtained evidence, the real solution to this matter lies in the society itself. The legal issues that were before this court are basic and elementary. It is certainly repulsive to any right-thinking citizen that a crime can be born out of and sustained by allowing a police officer in the comfort of his office without having anything else to do but surfing the internet for entertainment on YouTube to come across a video created and uploaded by enterprising content creator and therefore arrest a person who neither had knowledge of the video and is unaware of its circulation and send them to jail. More so, based on the video clip found on an entertainment site created and posted by unknown people seeking to provide entertainment. This creates a dangerous precedent for our criminal justice system. Those with a score to settle against others have been given a carte blanche. They can easily pay enterprising content creators to create a video of a person they have a vendetta against, make certain utterances that can be deemed to be offensive, and link it to our gullible police officers who have no willing to investigate but extracting zeal to arrest and detain. History will be my judge. Posterity will be my judge. I have no control over my fate today. I can only leave it to history to be the judge. I will let society, to whom this court must be allegiance, pronounce its own verdict. If I have strayed from any of the virtues of Ubuntu, if I was wrong for me to join the call for the justice for more blessing I, if I should have refrained from offering legal representation to a family in grief, then I will gladly accept whatever punishment is meted against me. I leave it to history to judge me. My conscience is clear. My fate, even my demise, while shackled in the oppressor's prison, will not put an end to the quest for justice. The pages of history will always turn at some point to the victim's glory. It may take decades, even centuries, but the truth shall come out. Those who came before me succeeded in removing the yoke of colonial rule. It took them close to a century to do so. I am only 50 years old. The words of Shkurubi have been my companion, and friend for over 10 months now. Prison walls confined the iconic Nelson Mandela for 27 years, but did not confine his ideals and did not kill his spirit. Prison walls confined several leaders of the liberation struggle, but it failed to contain the ideals they stood for. The hangman's noose cut short the life of Bianyang and Sekuru Kakuli, but did not kill their ideals they stood for. Whatever penalty that may be imposed against me will not contain the ideal of seeking justice against the callous murder of More Blessing Ali, nor will it contain the ideal of a free, peaceful, and just Zimbabwe. I resonate with the following writings of Freeborn Mron. I was born in a now defunct racist country called Rhodesia. All Africans born in that country were without political rights, human rights, or any kind of rights. But in spite of it all, my spirit was always free.